Nadia had always believed that loneliness was easier to carry when it was invisible. The problem with Valentine's Day was that it made loneliness loud. It decorated it in red and pink and glitter, wrapped it in hashtags, and placed it directly in front of your face until you could not ignore it anymore. The week before the 14th, every store in Abuja transformed into a theater of romance. Supermarkets built heart-shaped displays of chocolate. Street vendors held bundles of roses high above their heads. Radio presenters joked about, "Who is taking you out?" as if being unchosen was a crime. Nadia scrolled through her phone each night, watching soft life unfold in real time. Women she knew posted photos of surprise flower deliveries at work. Others posted screenshots of mobile money transfers captioned, "He said don't stress." It was never about the money alone. It was about what the money symbolized. It meant someone had picked you. Someone had decided you were worth investment. Nadia was 25 and tired of feeling like the last one standing in a game she never volunteered to play. She had a decent job. She paid her own rent. She was not lazy and she was not desperate. But every February, something inside her shifted. The pressure was subtle but constant. Even her aunt had called the previous Sunday and asked, "So, this year, who is spoiling you?" It was always framed as a joke, but it never felt like one. On the morning of Valentine's Day, Nadia woke up with a heaviness that felt like a decision waiting to be made. She imagined logging onto Instagram that night and seeing the same flood of curated romance. She imagined herself posting nothing and receiving no questions because silence would confirm what everyone already suspected. She did not have a rich man. She did not have a secret admirer. She did not have someone whispering promises in her ear. But she did have savings. The thought entered her mind quietly, almost politely. She could create her own moment, not just for herself, but for the world to see. After all, she would be the one paying. She would not be deceiving anyone financially. It would just be an illusion. By 11 in the morning, she had withdrawn a large portion of her savings. She walked into an upscale boutique she had admired for months but never entered. The sales assistant greeted her warmly, assuming confidence where there was actually fear. Nadia selected a designer handbag she had once told herself she would buy only after a promotion. She chose a silk robe in deep red. She picked an imported perfume whose price made her swallow hard. At a florist nearby, she requested the freshest roses and asked that they be arranged lavishly. She purchased premium chocolates wrapped in gold foil. With each swipe of her card, her heart pounded harder. But she also felt a strange thrill. Back home, she spent nearly 2 hours arranging everything carefully on her bed. She dimmed the lights and lit a scented candle for effect. She placed the roses slightly angled so they looked freshly delivered. She positioned the handbag in the center as if it were the crown jewel. She sat at the edge of the bed wearing the silk robe, smiling softly, as though overwhelmed by someone else's generosity. When she finally posted the photo, she added a caption that was deliberately vague. "When he says you deserve the world and proves it, I am grateful." She included a heart emoji and the hashtag #SoftLife. The reaction was immediate and intoxicating. Notifications poured in faster than she could read them. Comments congratulated her. Friends demanded details. A few even messaged privately asking if he had a brother. Each notification felt like a small validation. For the first time in a long while, she felt ahead instead of behind. She felt admired instead of pitied. She felt chosen, even if the chooser did not exist. That evening, her closest friend, Toriro, called her. Toriro's voice was full of excitement. "You have been hiding things from me," she said playfully. "Who is this man and why am I just finding out?" Nadia laughed nervously and deflected. She claimed she wanted to keep things private for now. Toriro teased her but eventually let it go. Nadia ended the call feeling both triumphant and uneasy. The next day at work, her colleagues treated her differently. They asked about her weekend plans with him. One woman jokingly said, "Make sure he introduces me to his rich friends." Nadia smiled through it all. She said he worked in business, which was vague enough to avoid specifics. She said he preferred privacy. Each lie layered itself on top of the previous one. It became harder to remember which version she had told to whom. A few days later, Nadia met Tariro for coffee. They sat across from each other in a quiet cafe. Tariro leaned forward and said she needed the full story. Nadia looked at her friend's curious face and suddenly felt tired. The lie felt heavy. She trusted Tariro and did not want to keep pretending in front of her. After a long pause, she lowered her voice and said, "There is no him. I bought everything myself." Tariro stared at her in surprise. Nadia explained how she had felt pressured by social media and by everyone's expectations. She admitted she had used her savings to create the illusion. Tariro listened quietly. When Nadia finished, Tariro told her she did not need to fake anything to be worthy. Nadia felt relieved after telling the truth. She asked Tariro not to tell anyone else, and Tariro agreed. However, the secret did not stay between them. Later, Tariro mentioned the story casually to a cousin, thinking it was harmless. The cousin shared it with someone else, and soon whispers began to spread. Someone sent Nadia a message asking if it was true that she had bought the gifts herself. Her stomach tightened as she read it. Soon, mocking comments began appearing under her Valentine's post. People wrote things like, "So you lied?" and "Attention seeker." Some used laughing emojis, others said she was embarrassing. The same people who had praised her were now criticizing her. Nadia felt her face grow hot with shame. She deleted the post, but screenshots were already circulating. She stayed inside her apartment for several days. She avoided social media and did not answer many calls. The beautiful handbag and roses that once made her feel powerful now reminded her of her mistake. She felt exposed and foolish. What hurt her most was how quickly admiration had turned into mockery. When she finally confronted Tariro, her friend apologized and said she had not meant for the story to spread. Nadia believed her, but she also realized that trust can break easily. Even if the betrayal was not intentional, the damage had already been done. After some time, Nadia decided she did not want to hide anymore. She went back online and wrote a long message. In it, she admitted that she had bought the gifts herself and explained how social media pressure had influenced her decision. She said she was not proud of lying, but she wanted to be honest now. She explained that sometimes people pretend to be happy because they feel unseen. The response was mixed. Some people still laughed, but others thanked her for her honesty. A few women sent private messages saying they understood her feelings. They admitted they had also felt pressured to show a perfect life online. Nadia realized she was not alone. Over time, the gossip faded. People moved on to other topics. Nadia focused on rebuilding her confidence. She learned that validation from strangers is temporary and fragile. She also learned to be more careful about who she trusted with her private struggles. The following year, when Valentine's Day came again, Nadia felt different. She did not feel the same heavy pressure. She bought herself a simple bouquet of flowers because she liked how they looked in her living room. When she posted a picture, her caption was honest and simple. She wrote, "I bought these flowers because I love them." This time, there was no secret and no performance. The likes were fewer, but they did not matter as much. Nadia felt calm. She understood that her value did not depend on appearing to have a rich man or a perfect life. She had made a mistake, faced the consequences, and learned from it. In the end, she discovered that honesty, even when it is uncomfortable, feels lighter than any expensive illusion.